Welcome. We are live here in Romania for the sub-junior and junior world championships. And if you haven't checked it out yet, definitely tune in to these world championships on YouTube. It's on the IPF YouTube channel. This is the biggest sub-junior and junior world championships that we've ever seen. There's over 650 lifters. There's over 55 countries. Team USA is coming in big with a huge squad of 57 lifters. And if you want to know about all things related to the Powerlifting America, the U.S. national team here at the World Championships, at the link below in this YouTube description, we've written a preview article that breaks down all the major highlights, has a link to the rosters, has a link to the IPF link tree where you can follow along and you can click on each and every session as they unfold. Also, if you're following us on Powerlifting_America on Instagram, every day we're posting Instagram stories. We'll post the link to each session. We'll post behind-the-scenes interview, all kinds of behind-the-scenes coverage. We'll post big lifts on our story as well. Things like whenever someone like yesterday, Danny Harris opened with a squat world record, we'll post that on our Instagram story so you can follow along there. And we'll also be here on YouTube every day, every morning before every single session, or before every day's first session starts, doing a live pregame show, and then we'll be back here again doing a live press conference when the competition is over. So I'm here in the room by myself, but I'm not by myself. I got Luke Mellon on the knobs and dials over here. He does have a microphone if he needs to ever chime in or ask a question or make a correction. He's in the room. You may know him, the young sub-junior men affectionately call him the young sub-junior men nicknamed him the Melon. Is a very funny nickname that they came up with for him, but he's been just a great sport about it. He's our super tech guy, and yeah, he's a ref and does all this other stuff as well. He's a competitor, 120 plus. Anyway, we're in here. We're doing this live pregame show. Today, we've got a massive session on tap. It's probably one of the most anticipated sessions in all of these sub-junior and junior world championships because we've got a rematch of the 63 kilo junior battle that we saw at Scottsdale between Daisy Areola Garcia and Joy Reinfleisch. You might have heard of those two young ladies. They're both amazing up-and-coming junior lifters. And then in the session 2, we're going to have another epic battle, another epic rematch from Scottsdale from the sub-junior national championships just a few months ago between Jack Reynolds and Nick Gaines. And then that's all we have on tap for the Team USA today. We've got 4 lifters in 2 sessions. It'll be something of a quick day. Our press conference will be coming to you a lot earlier today because we don't have any lifters in session 3, which is the 74 kilo junior class. So and then I want to also, we're going to go ahead and recap what happened yesterday. So if you were paying attention, if you follow along on the story, you saw, like I already mentioned, Danny Harris opening with squat world record in the 66 kilo sub-junior weight class. We also had Kyle Nowak breaking world records in the 66 kilo junior weight class, and both of them taking home gold medals for total, as well as a host of other medals as well. And we'll get to it, but they're also both sitting in the position of best lifter currently. We also had Kelsey Scanovan yesterday, a junior lifter in the 57 kilo weight class. And Kelsey has been lifting for, I think she said she was been lifting for 6 years. Even though she's a young lifter, she has a lot of experience, and it's always been her dream to make it to these world championships. If you didn't watch yesterday's press conference, definitely go and rewatch that. She gave an absolutely heart-tugging a press conference talking about what these world championships mean to her, why she came here, how she battled through the adversity of missing her first 2 squats, and how she told herself that she wanted to make that little girl proud when she first got into powerlifting. And then in the session, and so definitely check that out because it's like, I mean, I think I can speak for myself. I saw Luke absolutely just bawling during that session, during that press conference. The tears were streaming down. She was just so emotional, and it meant so much to her. And we just, these are the things that we do this for, is to create these kind of experiences for these young kids. And it's really, really heartwarming to hear her press conference there. Then in session 3 yesterday, we had the youngest lifter on the Powerlifting America team, also one of the most decorated at this point in her career as well, and that was Eva Polini in the 63 kilo class in the sub juniors. She's She competed a few days ago on the equipped side of things, and then she competed again on the classic side of things. And she's just a young superstar in the making, and also gave a really fun press conference. She's notoriously extremely shy, extremely scary and intimidating personality, even though she's like 16 years old. And yeah, she had a great performance as well on the classic side. She podiumed on the equipped side, and then she finished in 5th on the classic side. But she tied on and lost on body weight, so she's damn near in 4th place. And she wasn't too far out of making the podium. And if you listen to the press conference, you'll know that she's already in training hitting squats that are very near what the world record that was set yesterday by the first place finisher from Finland. So very bright future. She's got 2 years to add on and possibly push that world record way out of reach and hold on to that world record for a long time to come. Also, you know, she's an equipped lifter and a classic lifter. So given the fact that she was able to do this after going all out, all the adrenaline and all the competitive juices flowing just a few days ago, recoup and recomposition, and then do it all over again, it really speaks a lot to her character as a young athlete. And she gave some really funny answers in the press conference. She's super hungry for more. She's not satisfied, but we'll get into that as well as we go through these results from yesterday. So off the top, I want to go ahead and give a recap of where the U.S. team is standing on team points. So we'll start on the women's side here on the classic part of this championships. And Team USA is currently in 2nd place with 30 points. Britain is in 1st place with 33 points. And there's a pretty big gap between those two countries, with Spain coming in 3rd with 20 points. So we're sitting really well on the sub-junior classic women's side. Thanks in part, a lot to those huge performances that we saw in the opening days of the classic side from Jessica Haggerty and from Eleni Guerrera. Jessica Haggerty taking home the world championship. Eleni Guerrera finishing in 2nd place. So we have 2 huge performances there. And then of course we got Eva Polini giving us some points here in 5th place. Trinity Klinger giving us some points in the 47 kilo weight class. So we're doing really well. Our classic sub-junior women are really doing well. We know coming up, as if you want to take a little bit of a peek ahead of what's to come, we know that we have a couple of 1st place nominated lifters coming up in the days ahead in Chelsea Inamore and Luella Bowden in the 84 plus. So if all goes well, hopefully Team USA will be able to secure that position. We also, in the 84s, we've got a lifter, Michaela von Langen, that's nominated in 4th. She could do some damage and bring in some points. Also, Rachel Schowski is also in that weight class. So we've definitely got some sub-junior hitters coming up. We've also got Amelia Gherkin in the 76 kilo class. So I think there's a good chance, just looking at these numbers, that it could be the USA's best chance to win on the women's side a team gold medal. So that's really cool. Then looking at the standings for best lifter on the women's side, unfortunately, our 2 girls, Eleni and Jessica Haggerty, who were sitting in 2nd and 3rd for best lifter yesterday, got bumped off the best lifter podium. I believe their good lift points were right around 90, 91, something like that. And now we've got a couple of lifters in here at 94 and 92 from Finland and Great Britain. The lifter that I spoke about already, who broke the squat world record in the 63 kilo weight class, I'm going against Eva Polini from Finland, is sitting in 2nd, and Sky Moore in Great Britain is sitting in 3rd. And still at the top of the leaderboard there is Chloe Tang, who edged out and beat Eleni Guerrera in the 57 kilo sub juniors. So when you see that Eleni, she was extremely emotional after that. She had high expectations for herself. She really wanted to win that. But when you look at the competition who she was going against, she's going against someone who's put up a 96 good lift points. That's a really high. That's approaching open level territory. So definitely, there's no shame in losing to someone who is absolutely one of the strongest lifters in the world. And it should be an honor to have competed with them. Who was that? So Next, going into the junior women and doing a little bit of a recap on where Team USA is standing. We are not doing so great on this side of things. We're currently sitting in 22nd place with only Luke with only 1 point right now, and that's just because we haven't had a lot of junior lifters competing yet. Our junior superstars are going to be out there today in Joy Reinfleisch and Daisy Areola Garcia. So we haven't had very many of our star lifters. We have only had one one lifter lift so far on the junior side of the women's team. So those results are, we're definitely going to be climbing up through those rankings very rapidly today. So I'm guessing by the end of today, we're going to get a couple of sets of points here, and we're probably going to crack into the top 10. And then as the week unfolds, and we have some of our other lifters like Antara Jackson and Jess Kenny, will be climbing up those rankings as well. So then looking at as far as best lifters concerned here, it's currently a lifter from Lebanon with a 108 good lift points. That is insane. Like, it is a really high good lift points for a junior lifter from Lebanon. It's great to see countries like Lebanon that you don't normally see at the open level at World Championships being extremely competitive. France also yesterday in the 52 kilo weight class. This is probably the reason why that 52 kilo weight class battle was so huge and why it was the most viewed session on YouTube so far is because we had Joya from Lebanon and we had Camille Hadris from France. Camille put up a 107 good lift point. So that was an absolutely epic battle, epic session. All right, so that's a recap on the women's side. On the men's side, looking at the sub juniors, Team USA is currently in first place with 21 points. Japan is in second with 20 points. And Georgia is in third place with 18 points. And that's owing a lot to our two young hitters in the 53s, Gavin and Lederick. And then also in the... We didn't have anyone in the 59s, but we had Danny Harris in the 66 kilo class taking home the gold medal on total. So that's largely driving those results up. And looking at the best lifter on the sub juniors, Danny Harris is sitting comfortably in first place with the 95 good lift points. 95 for a sub junior is a ridiculous place to be. I mean, as a sub junior, he mentioned yesterday in his press conference that he wants to break the open world record, that he wants to be placing and possibly win an open world championship before he even ages out of the juniors. So he's got big goals for himself. And looking at those good lift points, 95 good lift points is pretty high, and that's a pretty strong showing, definitely approaching the open level there. So that's where we're sitting on the men's sub-junior team. On the men's junior team, on team points, currently Singapore is in first with 22, and America is in second place with 20 points. And again, this is owing mostly to, first we had Bodie Laco in the 59 kilo weight class. He finished in third, netting us a bunch of points there. Bodie has been just a great teammate here at these championships. After he was done competing, first of all, he's never lost before, and then he ended up taking third place. So that, had to be hard for him to deal with something like that, and he handled it like an absolute professional. And then he didn't just go and pout or he didn't go rest on his laurels. He went and he was in every session yesterday cheering on our two men in the morning and our ladies throughout the rest of the afternoon. He came back to the press conference yesterday and even asked some questions. I mean, he's just been a great sport. He's really showing his team spirit. So Bodie Laco gave us some points there, finishing in third, and then of course Kyle Nowak finishing in first place in the 66 kilo weight class, taking home the gold medal for Team USA, taking home a pile of medals for Team USA, and netting us some points, finishing us there in second place. So looking at best lifter on the junior team, we've got Kyle Nowak currently sitting in first place with 104 good lift points. That's about what you would expect from someone like Kyle. He's basically he's putting up a total that's competitive in the open division, and that netted him 104 good lift points. He's sitting comfortably in first right now, about 4 good lift points above a lifter from Japan and lifters from Singapore. So as the week unfolds, like I said, Team USA is currently sitting in second place behind Singapore, 2 points behind Singapore. But we've got some more heavy hitters coming up throughout the week. We're thinking about Shane Nutt and Peyton Johnson. We're thinking about Connor Heim in the sub juniors. We've got a lot of major hitters coming up that hopefully should be able to secure that victory for Team USA. So if you're overall, you take it away. What teams does Team USA have a best chance of winning the team gold medal on? It's going to be the classic sub junior women, where we're currently sitting very high in the rankings, and the junior men. So that's where we are there. All right. Now let's go ahead and get into a little bit of a recap of what happened yesterday in a little bit more detail. We've already talked about it quite a bit, but I'm in the room here, and head coach John Burford just walked in. So let's bring him up here. Let's torture this man some more. He doesn't usually get on camera. He doesn't usually talk that much. He's a quiet guy. But at these World Championships, with the media team that we got, and with all the things that we've been doing, hanging out, getting to know this man, he's got a lot of great insights. He's a smart guy. He can talk about stuff. So we're gonna bring him in here, and then we'll get him out of here and let him go do his job. So, John, welcome to the pregame show. Your first appearance on a live pregame show.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so, I mean, the last time you were up here, you brought down the house with a tear-jerking press conference with words of wisdom and Belichickisms all over the place. But starting off just off the top, how is the classic side going now? We kicked it off just a couple days ago. Overall, how do you think things are going?
I think it's going well. Last year the classic was on a little bit more of a condensed schedule, so it was. They added some days, so it's a little bit more spread out. So we have kind of fewer lifters per session, but we're kind of working every session. But everything's going smooth, The lifters are doing well. They're doing their job. Everybody's kind of doing what we expect so far.
Yeah, it feels like we're really starting to get into the heart of it now, as far as the classic side is concerned. They did a thing where they kind of had one session that was tied in on the last day of the equip day. That felt kind of weird. And then, of course, we started off with Trinity Klinger in the 47s, like with the whole weight cut thing in the 47s. But then we got into it with Bodie, and then we had Jessica and Eleni. And then yesterday, kind of feel like we really had a coming out party, opening the day with two world champions and a bunch of world records. And then we had Kelsey and Eva. And then now today, we're also getting into a couple of our superstars. The 63 is always one of the most heralded weight classes, one of the most competitive ones. And then we got that battle with Jack Reynolds and Nick Gaines coming up. And then we'll have a kind of an early day for once.
Yeah, and this is a fun point because now we're starting to get some lifters that have gone, and you're starting to see some points getting put up on the board, and starting to see how things shake out. So that's kind of getting exciting. And just kind of getting into the heart of the schedule, to really see what these athletes can do, and kind of hopefully put ourselves in positions to take the team titles.
Yeah, so I don't want to keep you for too long, but I wanted to just talk a little bit about yesterday. A couple of things come to mind first and foremost. Just talk to us a little bit about that first session. I mean, Danny, everyone knew he was strong. The question was always kind of hanging over. It was like, are his lifts to the standard? Is he going to be able to get white lights? He came out, hit the world record on his opener on squat, and I think at that point we all knew he was about to do something special.
Yeah. So as a coach, that's the big concern going in. We saw his training. A lot of his training videos, his squats didn't look deep enough. But he kind of calmed my nerves when he was warming up. He was really getting deep in warm-ups. So we didn't have a concern after that. We actually did lower his squat. But it's also just a concern when you see such a young kid putting up such big numbers, because it's not common.
No.
So as a coach, especially as a coach who's not his personal coach, and he coaches himself, it gives you a pause to just
say
kind
the
of double
least.
check. Like, man, is this kid really putting up these numbers?
Is he for real?
Is he really capable of this?
Is he for real? Yeah, born in 2006. I think he's like 16 years old.
Yeah, real young.
I mean, coaching himself as a 16-year-old comes out, hits a squat world record on his opener, finishes with the biggest squat in the session.
Yeah.
Finishes with the biggest squat. He's going up against people 4, 5, 7, 6 years older than him.
Yeah.
I mean, and he doesn't look like a big guy.
No.
Like you see him and you think, this kid's kind of going to be the biggest squatter. Like if you just picked him out of a lineup in the room, you'd be like, no way in hell this guy's going to be the biggest squatter in this room.
Yeah. And he really, he had a meet like you would think just a savvy veteran would have.
Yeah.
I mean, he just
First time at the World Championships.
yeah,
too.
just kind of chopped wood all day. You know, just went to work, and I mean, I was really proud of him. He did great.
I mean, the kid is a freak of nature. I mean, because honestly, like when you look at him, you just and I think he weighed in. I mean, I guess it's showing on the score sheet weighed in 65.16, so that isn't too super light or anything like that. Definitely one of the lightest lifters as far as podium contenders and things like that. But yeah, just the kid's got freak strength. I mean, because he's not he's crazy jacked or has amazing squat leverages or any. There's nothing about him that looks like he's genetically built to be like a squat machine or anything like this. He looks like he'd be a good deadlifter.
Yeah.
He's actually a really good bencher.
Yeah.
Again, he doesn't look like he'd be a good bencher. He looks like a kind of a skinny kid.
Yeah.
But man, the kid's got superhuman strength. So I don't know. They're putting something in the water down there in Lincoln, Nebraska. We need to get him on the Husker football team.
Yeah, that was a fun session. With him and Kyle. Man, those two gentlemen are just great representatives for powerlifting for the U.S. I mean, they were great to coach, great to handle.
Yeah.
Really were very respectable young men. Handled every situation, especially Kyle. Handled every situation exactly like you would want someone to handle them.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
It was. It's always a pleasure to run into people like that. For sure. It makes it definitely worth it.
For sure. And I mean, I didn't even realize this. I'm actually finally getting to take a look at this score sheet because, they come out kind of late. But Danny actually squatted like 3 kilos more than Kyle.
Yeah.
He also outbenched him by 2.5 kilos. And then thankfully, I mean, thank God Kyle has a big deadlift on him. And was comfortably out deadlifting Danny here. But damn, Kyle and everyone in the 66s in the open and then juniors, they're on notice because this kid Danny Harris is for real. Let's talk a little bit more about Kyle's day. I know there was a mishap with his opener on deadlift. His deadlift is his weapon. Could have really been something that was a really big problem. But like a true champ, Kyle handled the adversity, went out there and still pulled off a huge deadlift for the win and ended up winning fairly comfortably.
Yeah, that's that can be such a big shock, especially a lifter as experienced as Kyle is.
Yeah.
And you don't expect those mistakes to happen. But unfortunately they do. And that's something that we have to make sure we get right. And then own that, and it was a mistake, but luckily, Kyle, like I said, he handled that situation like a champ, didn't let it affect him. Went out there and nailed his second deadlift for secured a win and the record in the process. So I mean, I was super proud of him.
Yeah.
He really he saved our butts there.
Yeah, I mean, winning tends to cover up any kind of mistakes. I'm sure there's a Bill Belichick quote about that out there somewhere. But yeah, I mean, when you win, everything feels all right. So it ended up being okay. And like you said, I mean, mistakes happen. You're trying to do a lot of things, actually write a wrong number down on a piece of paper and hand it in. And all Vin could do was own that. And all of us could do was to own it because we were all back there. We were all have eyes in our head and we're looking at it. And this is a team. It's not just Vin. It's a complete team effort, and the buck stops with the whole team.
That's right. And
so,
we in a situation like that. Luckily, the mistake didn't hurt us, so to speak. But it also opens our eyes. Hey, we got to do some things differently.
Yeah.
We got to put some safeguards in place to make sure it doesn't happen again.
We all got to be on our P's and Q's and double check everything, for sure. All right, so we had that was a amazing, spectacular session. 2 world champs, tons of world records, tons of medals being taken home. Both of them are sitting in first place of best lifter right now. But then tell us, just talk briefly about Eva Polini and how proud you are of her and her performance.
You know, she is such a competitor. She's got very high expectations for herself, which I love. You know, I've always said, you know, I don't enjoy winning as much as I hate losing, and I think that's her personality as well. You know, she wants to be able to hit the absolute best numbers she can hit. You know, when she doesn't get that, you know, it makes her upset. You know, so
Yeah.
I love that kind of fiery attitude. But
too.
she's super young, man, and I don't think she realizes just how good she actually is.
Yeah.
You know, she's got 2 more years of sub juniors left. She can, and she competed at Quip just what 4 or 5 days ago. I mean, all the days are running together at this point.
Feels like a month ago, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was actually like 3 days ago.
But incredibly talented, incredibly hardworking. So I'm super excited to see what she can do next year. And honestly, just as a coach, I think it's just super cool that she does both raw and equipped.
I do too.
You know, there's not many people do it. They're very different forms of lifting. You know, in your technique, and to be able to be successful in both, it's just really impressive.
Yeah, extremely impressive to be able to change gears, turn around and do it, and be really good at it. It was really funny because she really wanted you to load more than 140 on her third squat, and I heard her. She's not a very vocal. She's very shy. I already talked about that before, but I heard her talking to Casey or something, and she just said, 140 is just not going to do anything for me. And she's so competitive like that is just in a nutshell. She's looking at the scoreboard. Mind you, she's 2 years younger than most of these ladies. She's looking at the scoreboard and she sees you put in 140 and she's just upset. She's like that number is just not going to do anything for me because she wants to win. She wanted to podium. She wanted to you know, and she did podium on squat. She finished in third on squat, which again, as being 2 years younger than everyone, you can just imagine where she's going to push that world record in the next 2 years. It's going to be so far out of reach for anyone. Yeah. So, all right. Well, that's a really cool. John, I know you got to get down there and get into the warm-up room. The first session is about to start in about 15 minutes. Both of our lifters are in the second flight, so really they don't even need to start warming up here for probably another 15, 20 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, we got a little time.
And they'll be lifting probably in about from now, roughly an hour from now is probably when I would expect them to start actually taking their first squats. Their openers on the platform. So John, thanks for coming in, man. It's always great to talk to you. You got to do more press like this, man. You're good. People want to hear you. Anytime you come on, whether it's the podcast or a press conference, the ratings just blow up, man. So I don't know. We got to get you.
Well, I'll see what I can do.
And before we get up here and make some noise and stuff, Luke, let's go ahead and let's play that video. So we've got a video queued up here that has all of the lifts from our two world champions from yesterday, Danny Harris and Kyle Nowak, in the order that they unfolded. And I just want to mention before you see that on Danny's bench press on there, you see that he got two red lights. That got overturned by the jury. And so I don't know if were you one of the ones that went out, or Vin was the one.
Vin went out for that.
Went out and handled that and got that overturned by the jury. So when you see those two red lights, just know he actually did get that. He actually went 8 for 8 and then only missed his last deadlift on some grip issues. So, all right, and you had it locked up by then by far. So and he didn't need it. But anyway, thanks again, John and Luke. Go ahead and let's play that clip. All right, so we had some technical issue. We weren't able to play that video. If we, maybe we can try again later, but it's okay because I got to get out of here in about the next 10 minutes. But I do want to, we spent a lot of time there recapping what happened yesterday. Let's definitely not forget to talk about what's about to unfold today in the 63 kilo weight class coming up here in about, like I said, about an hour from now. We'll have Daisy Areola Garcia and Joy Reinfleisch kicking things off. If you watched the junior national championships in Scottsdale, you'll know that they had an epic battle against each other. It came down to the final deadlift with Joy having the possibility to pull for the win, and she ended up missing it. There were some attempt selection issues on the other side of the coin that had opened the door for Joy to be able to do that. And so what we have here is actually a really interesting battle because we have two different styles of lifting. We have one who's a huge squatter and has a really big pull on her, and that's Daisy Areola Garcia. So she's nominated with the 168 squat, and compared to Joy's 152 squat, but Joy has a absolutely monstrous bench. I mean, there's a extremely high probability that she's going to be breaking the bench world record maybe a couple of times in this session. And don't forget that Joy is the youngest lifter in this age group by far. There's only one other lifter out of these 20 lifters nominated in the 63 kilo juniors. There's one other lifter who's a year older than her, born in 2003. She's born in 2004. Everyone else is born in 2000, 2002, or 2001. So yeah, I mean, she's just aged into this weight class, and she's already breaking world records in the bench. And then Daisy is nominated with a 185 deadlift, and Joy's got a 170. So we have a bench specialist here in Joy, and then we've got someone in Daisy who's really good at squat and deadlift. I will say that Daisy, I spoke to her a little bit earlier. I'm gonna post a little interview that I did with her on our Instagram story when we get off of this live pregame show. She's feeling really good. She said her training has gone well. Her weight cut. She didn't really have to cut at all. She was already at body weight. She was able to eat up into this, and so she's feeling really, really good coming into this. Her training went really fantastic. She doesn't post a lot of her training, so she's keeping those cards super close, and we don't know exactly where she is. Meanwhile, Joy posts all of her training, and Joy has been hitting PRs across the board. So she is no longer just a bench specialist. Her squat has taken off. Her deadlift is blowing up. She's taking what was her previous max on deadlift for triples and sets of 4 and making them look easy. She's taking her squat is also going up really fast. She's kind of broke through those mental barriers of some of those big numbers that, those big round numbers with pound plates like 315, stuff like this, that she's able to push past now and make that stuff look like rep work. So when you're dealing with juniors, and I mean, so when you think of rate of adaptation here amongst the sub juniors in particular, we see that it's extremely high and it's extremely unpredictable where they're going to be at. Well, Joy is basically barely out of the sub juniors. Like, she is still making that extremely rapid, like, sub junior level progress. Daisy is also making progress. We don't see it as much because she doesn't post. We know she's still making junior level progress as being one of the older juniors in this weight class. She's born in 2001, so that puts her as within 1 year of being the oldest in this age group. So it's just very interesting to see how this is going to all play out. They are nominated. Daisy's nominated in 7th. Joy's nominated in 9th. So we don't know if either of them will really be able to push up for the top spot, possibly make a podium, something like that. Daisy's nominated 445 total, is only 20 kilos behind the person who's nominated in 3rd place right now. So depending on how things go, and everyone nominated in the top 5, in the top 4, are born in 2000, except for the Swedish lifter Alba Bostrom, who's born in 2001. So definitely you kind of see that age group thing play out, where the older lifters are nominated near the top. Joy is by far the highest nominated lifter that was not born in 2000 or 2001, way ahead of anyone else born in any of those 2002 to 2003 years as well. So that's going to be a really fun one, a really tight battle. Like I said, came down to the last deadlift. before. By all accounts, it should be even more competitive this time around, and we can't wait to see what those two ladies do. In the second session today, we've got a rematch of the 74 kilo sub junior weight class. This came down to 0.5 kilos in Scottsdale. So this also came down to the final deadlift. There was some attempt selection issues, a math error in terms of loading for our man Nick Gaines on his final pull. He loaded 259. If he had loaded 259.5, he would have been the national champion. But nonetheless, he has assured me, I've talked to him multiple times this week. He has assured me that he is going to do something crazy at this competition, that he is going to win this competition, that he is extremely confident that there will be no math errors this time. He'll have the U.S. national team coaching him, and he will be on point with all of his attempt selections. It is very, very interesting. Like Joy, like Eva Polini, like Eleni Guerrera coming in as one of the younger lifters in the age group. Jack Reynolds was born in 2007. There is not a person in the top 10 of this weight class that was born in 2007. They're all born in 2005. Every single person in the top 10, other than Jack Reynolds, is 2 years older than Jack Reynolds, and he's nominated in first place. I mean, what does that tell you about the future that this young man has? No matter the outcome here, no matter what Nick Gaines is promising to do out here on the platform and avenge himself in his performance from Scottsdale, Jack Reynolds is the future of the 74 kilo sub juniors. He is a star on the rise, and he has on him a massive bench, similar to Joy as well. So I think he's nominated with the biggest bench in the entire weight class, which is crazy considering that he is a couple of years younger than anyone else in this weight class as well. So that's really good. That's really huge. The future is extremely bright. Now, one thing that people don't know about Jack Reynolds, he was not really that healthy coming into nationals. So that total that he put up there, that was on a short prep because his prep was derailed heavily by some injuries. So even Jack, and again, he's younger, which means his rate of adaptation is going to be higher. So he's also going to be putting up some big numbers. He has kept his training very close. I know he's hit some PRs. He's posted a couple of singles. If you know Jack, you know that he'll always post a bunch of big grinders, and you wonder whether they're to the competition standard sometimes, a touch and go bench, a squat that looks maybe a little bit high, but he was able to get a huge total on the board in Scottsdale with high-level national level referees out there like Luke Mellon, who's a Cat 2 now. Are you Cat 1 now or Cat 2? Cat 2. He's a Cat 2. He's on the knobs and dials, and he's a Cat 2 rep, the Mellon. And anyway, Jack Reynolds is going to get some points on the board for us for sure. He's going to get his lifts in. Nick Gaines is promising something special, so I think everyone needs to tune in and watch this rematch. This is going to be a fun one for us because it's always fun when you have dogs that are competing not just against each other like we're seeing with Daisy and Joy, but that are competing for the world title and possibly breaking some world records. So we're going to see that out of Jack Reynolds and Nick Gaines today. Definitely tune in for that one. Make sure you're following Powerlifting_America on Instagram. We'll be posting all kinds of behind the scenes content, interviews, and any big lifts, world records that happen, any kind of fun stuff going on behind the scenes. And then make sure you're subscribed here on our Powerlifting America YouTube account, where we're doing pregame shows before the first session of every single day, and then where we're doing post competition press conferences. Whenever our final lifter of the day is done lifting, we will all group up here in the media room, and we'll do a post-competition press conference. So today we're expecting that press conference to be about 4 hours earlier than it has been. What's that? Oh, it'll be around 5 o'clock. Okay,
We have it scheduled for 5 o'clock.
Okay, we got it scheduled for 5 o'clock. All right, cool. We got it scheduled for 5 o'clock, which is going to be amazing because we can get out of that and actually get some sleep in here and things like that for once. And this what feels like a very long competition, but we're excited. The adrenaline is pumping. We got some absolute shooters in here today in the morning session and in the afternoon session. It's going to be an exciting day of lifting. Make sure you tune in. Make sure if you want to get a litlittle bit, wrap your head around what all is going on with these Classic World Championships. Click the link below that has a link to our article that we wrote that's on our website. Then in that article has links to the IPF link tree and all that kind of stuff. And again, all the sessions, we'll post the links on our Instagram story as well. So tune in there. All right, with that, thank you to everyone who tuned in and checked this out. And thank you again to Luke Mellon, our producer over here, and then also all of our lifters and John Burford coming in and giving us the recap from the coach's perspective. And we'll be back again. We'll see you again, same time, same place tomorrow. Thank you. Peace.